Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to do a video on the books that I picked out that I would like to read in October. There's a huge pile, I probably won't get to all of them, and knowing me, I change my mind so many times. I've been known to pick up a book and read the first chapter, I think, just not in the mood, and I'll go and get another one. So anyway, I did pick up a pile of books that are perfect for October. Historical fictions, especially in the medieval times, I think is a fascinating reads for in the fall time. There's spooky ones for close to Halloween with ghost, and there's thrillers, and so anyway, I will get started. So this, I just finished this one a couple days ago, and this is The Mistress of the Art of Death by Ariana Franklin, which I picked up the first 3 books in this series from the bookstore, which is great because usually you don't get the first few books in a series at once, so I was lucky there. This takes place in the 12th century in England, and King Henry II has written the King of Sicily to see if they could send an investigator to investigate the death of these 4 children. And they're quite progressive in Salerno, where this woman went to school in Italy, and she is called like a mistress of the art of death. So she investigates bodies to see how they died, etc. So she arrives and with a couple of other people, and they investigate these murders. I love her character, and yeah, it's just a very good historical fiction, and yeah, it's just those times, just medieval times and historical fictions I just love in the fall. And then this I started just last night and didn't get too far, fell asleep. This is The Curse of Misty Wayfair by Jamie Jo Wright. And this has actually gotten very good reviews on Goodreads. So this takes place in a couple of different time periods. The first was about 100 years ago in 1908. And there is this orphan who is picked up by this couple who are traveling photographers, and they teach her the trade, and then she becomes the photographer herself when her 2 adopted parents pass away. So it starts right off the bat with her going into a house, and in Victorian times it was quite popular to take pictures of the deceased once they passed away with the other family members. So they will actually prop them up in a chair or have them standing, the dead relatives, and take pictures with other families. So that's what she's doing at the very beginning of this. So she was dropped off by her mother at an orphanage, and she goes to Pleasant Valley, Wisconsin, and all of her clues lead her to a mental asylum, and she gains entry because she is a photographer, and she just wants to find out what happened to her mother. And then a century later, this character called Heidi, you don't see too many Heidis in books, she receives a troubling letter from her mother, who is battling dementia, and she travels to Pleasant Valley for answers to her own identity. And then she catches sight of a ghostly woman haunting the asylum ruins in the woods and that. So yeah, it's a little spooky paranormal, which is perfect for October. And then now, none of these I have actually read before, but I have to suggest, if you want the crap scared out of you, read Dean Koontz Intensity. And you know what? I'll try to put a picture somewhere of the cover. I'm not very high-tech, but for some reason I can't find it. I was going to read it again, and I cannot find it anywhere. I think I maybe accidentally sent it back to a charity shop or something. But it's Intensity by Dean Koontz. That will scare the crap out of you. It's about this woman who's captured by a serial killer, and oh my god, it is so fast-paced. It's the scariest novel I have ever read, so I'll try to remember to put a little picture, or actually put the name below. But these other ones I have not read yet. The first one is Agatha Christie, and then There Were None. So isolation thrillers are perfect. Spooky kind of atmospheres. So 10 strangers are lured to an isolated island mansion off the Devon coast. And then I think one by one they start dying in that. So I heard this is a pretty good one, a novel that she has written. So yeah, any isolation thrillers are kind of spooky and creepy. This is another kind of a ghosty tale, The Waiting Room by F.G. Cottam. And so there is a retired rock star's vast estate, and he used it for a playground for his children. But strange music, and they started seeing this dead soldier walking around, kind of frightened them away. So Julian Creed is TV's most popular ghost hunter. Him and his small production team don't believe it's paranormal, so they go and investigate. And yeah, I think they become believers at some point. But another good kind of spooky ghost story. Gothic Victorian novels are great. Sometimes they can have very spooky, creepy atmospheres. This is Death in the Devil's Acre by Anne Perry, a Victorian murder mystery. So I think there's the characters in here. There's a detective and his wife that solve mysteries, and this is not the first book. So I'm hoping it'll be a standalone novel. I think I picked this up in the used bookstore for $1 or $2, so hopefully it'll be a standalone novel. Who knows? But yeah, it sounds like this. There's a serial killer, and this inspector and his wife are trying to find the killer. So yeah, Victorian Gothic novels are so atmospheric. This one I picked up also in a used bookstore, an English ghost story by Kim Newman. So anything with a haunted house, strange happenings in a house are perfect. So this dysfunctional nuclear family want to solve their problems, and they want to start a new life away from the city. So they go to the Somerset countryside. Their new house seems perfect for them, but then it seems the house begins to turn on them and seems to know just how to hurt them. So yeah, that sounds spooky. Anything with witches in medieval times are great for this time of year. This is The Witchfinder's Sister that I just picked up at Book Outlet by Beth Underwood. So this woman, she becomes widowed, and her son have to return to her brother's home because she has no other way to support herself, and she finds out her brother is very cruel and has become a witch hunter, and she has to try to still live with him because she has no other way to survive, but she's against what he is doing. So, and then this is A Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan. And this takes place over many years, and it actually traces 5 generations of fiercely powerful mothers and daughters, witches whose magical inheritance is both a dangerous threat and an extraordinary gift. So it starts off in 1821 in Brittany, and goes up to the present day, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be a really interesting read. And then small murders in small villages, or mysteries in small villages, also have that kind of creepy atmosphere vibe to them also. And this is The Burning Girls by C.J. Tudor. And this one, it takes place in Chapel Croft, so it has quite a history. 500 years ago, Protestant martyrs were betrayed and then burned, and then 30 years ago, 2 teenage girls disappeared. Just a lot of odd, not odd, but just a lot of history for this very small town. And recently the vicar of the local parish hung himself, and then a reverend comes to town to take over with his 14-year-old daughter. And yeah, just creepy, spooky things are happening. So yeah, anything in a small village, creepy stuff in woods or small villages. And this is Bentley Little. This is The Haunted, so I'm going to probably read this closer to Halloween. So this is another one where there's just this really creepy house. So Julian and Claire and their 2 children moved to a bigger, nicer house in their city's historic district, but something isn't right. The neighbors seem reluctant to visit. The mother always feels like someone's watching her. The daughter's getting all these menacing texts, etc., etc. So yeah, there is something really creepy going on with this house. And the last one I just picked up at a book outlet, and this is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. So back in the 50s, his residents mysteriously disappeared. There's only 2 survivors. One survivor, an abandoned newborn. So this woman's documentary filmmaker, this woman's grandmother was part of this village, so she wants to go and investigate what's happened with her crew, the documentary crew. And yeah, things don't go well. So yeah, anything with a documentary film crew or something going in and investigating something, and yeah, so that one sounded really good too. So yeah, I got lots to choose from. It's just the perfect time of year for those spooky, creepy thrillers and that. So anyway, let me know what you're going to be reading this month. What kind of spooky thrillers or what kind of genre do you like that really ups that creepy vibe for you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hope I gave you some good suggestions for reading in October. So everyone take care, be well and be kind, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.